Is this
Hi, everyone. So this is our first go at it. I wanted to have some fun introduction and have her like jump on the screen, but and surprise you all because I wanted to introduce her as my favorite person on the face of the planet. So I begged and pleaded. My first guest is none other than my baby girl. Hi, Mary.
Hi?
Hi. So we talked a little bit about doing this podcast. My actual goal for the future is that Marin and I are going to do something together for her demographic because I feel like there's a lot that young people have to say in this day and age, and I think I'd love to help my daughter have a voice. And but we'll see where that goes. Anyway, how are you, Marin?
Not bad.
Okay. Remember, we talked about we're going to have more than yes or no answers.
Okay, well, what do you want me to say?
Nothing. I just want you to tell the truth. So I
Okay,
created some questions to help Marin out because I don't know, she's 16 and not quite 16, 16 in a week, and isn't the most elaborate conversationalist. So I'm going to ask some questions and hopefully we will have some great answers. So my first question, Marin, give me some words to describe the last year of your life.
um,
Nice words. Well, they don't have to be nice words, just not bad words.
uh, I have no words, like no words.
Right.
It's just so different from anything I've ever experienced,
On a
which
given
anyone
day,
can.
on a given day, what do you waffle between? How you feel?
About COVID.
Just life.
Annoying. I feel like I'm always doing things for other people. Like I'm following these guidelines for other people and myself, obviously, but it's not like we live in Toronto where I'm going to be affected with everything I do. But like I can't like I
Meaning
yes, we
because
can see
because we
people.
live in smaller towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm always looking out for like if I do something like, oh, if I'm with a big group of people, like the other day I was hanging out with friends. We were all concerned, oh, is someone gonna call bylaw? Nobody's gonna do that anymore because like things are opening back up. But even still with when I'm with like two other people, we're always concerned like, oh, is some neighbor gonna complain and call bylaw?
Yeah,
So
it feels a little Big Brother is watching, and a lot of adults will know the reference to that. You've probably heard me say it enough that you know what it means. But yeah, we all seem to look over our shoulders still, and I'm curious
mhm.
how long that's going to last for. But you said something. You hung out with your friends. How good does that feel?
Great. Like it was a lot of fun hanging out with them, except the fact that there were people fighting, but that's
Fighting
whatever.
over just being teenagers or fighting over something specific?
No, just fighting over being teenagers.
Right.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun because
That,
yes, I have seen them all before, but not like we were having fun, like just outside swimming. Like I've kind of seen them all randomly, but seeing them all like actually hanging out in a proper place, I'm like trying to find somewhere we can all hang out and like try and not get someone called on us.
right. And it must be weird because you guys are, I mean, this is weird. Like you just said, you all have to think about what you're doing. It's not like, you know,
Yeah.
2 years ago, you'd all just hang out and nobody thinks of anything. And oh,
Yeah.
is that going to pop up in my video? That's not good. Um, Everybody just could do what they wanted to do. And now when you guys hang out, there's sort of this stigma or this underlying, like we just said, somebody.
Like you feel like people are gonna judge you if you're
Yeah.
together. Like my other friends don't really care. They've been hanging out with each other. Like I'm not trying to expose my friends here,
Yeah,
but
yeah, no,
they've been all hanging out with each other. And I've been like kind of concerned to hang out with them for maybe that one time I hang out with them, something bad happens.
yeah,
Like,
it's funny
I
that we
don't know,
went from that
bylaw.
bubble. Remember the bubble, like the bubble a year ago? And then we got out of the bubble and then we got locked down again and we never really got allowed to have that bubble. But I think parents took on the stance of what's a greater risk? My child getting COVID or my child going over the edge of sanity? And personally felt that, you know, your happiness and your peace of mind or just your wellness was more important than anything. Like I always put that first. I know that a lot of parents might not agree with that, but that's okay. Like we've had a lot of conversations about there's a lot of things that people don't agree with anymore. And it's even filtered to you guys, to down to the level of kids, which is ridiculous. Shouldn't be fighting about COVID. Like that's just,
I know,
that's
not
crazy.
fun.
Anyway, my next question is, because this has been a hard year. If one of your friends, we're kind of coming through it a little bit, but let's say one of your friends came to you and said, oh my gosh, I'm like super sad and super depressed. I don't know how to get out of it. Pretty much given up hope. What would you say to them?
I honestly don't know, because if I hadn't gone through that myself, then I would have a better way of helping them. But since I kind of did, I don't really have what to tell them because I don't know. Because if I knew, then that would be helpful to know. But I just probably say, like, I would say do something to get your mind off it, but even then we can't really do that.
Well,
so I don't want to say some people are kind of stuck, because we're not stuck. It's just, I don't know.
Stuck in what?
We are limited from the things that can help us, because we're not so much now, but before, like, we weren't allowed to hang out with the people that keep us from going crazy, and just doing the things we like doing.
It's certainly not a life of I personally think that this has affected your age group the most. And you know, the older kids, like kids in their,
they went through high school,
20
we
or
are just
21, they can't go to a bar. Okay, well, so what? Big deal. Yeah, I know they'd all be like, well, it is a big deal. Okay, but you guys, between the ages of 14 and 19, you do so much growing that to not be able to, and this is where I'm a bit more of a liberal mom, to be not going out and going to parties and drinking and doing what 16 and 17 and year olds do, it makes me sad, because I don't want to promote you going out and partying and drunk and stuff like that. But it's almost like doing things, it's a rite of passage. It's a young person's life. Like, there's a million other things you could be doing that are far more legal and whatever. And I shouldn't, but I'm trying to promote a sentiment that you guys are taking a great big hit on just starting to have your own social groups that aren't at home with your parents. Like, you know, like you guys all hanging out outside of all parents, you know, in your group, and that hasn't happened, you know, and what if really get to happen for the foreseeable future? How much of an impact does that have? You know, it's weird. You don't even get to go to school, for heaven's sakes. You don't even get to hang out at school. So and
school's the biggest part of our lives currently.
Yeah, so it's a whole weird dynamic. Anyway, what's something that you've learned about yourself in the last year that you didn't know before?
I didn't really learn anything about myself. I kind of learned things about other people.
Like?
I don't know. Sometimes people just don't care to think about other people so much, or they kind of, well, I just said they don't think about the people, so I was gonna say they're more selfish. Is that the word?
Yeah, that's really come about in the last year, as there's some dynamics in a lot of people that are shocking to me, people
Mhm.
prior, there's the odd person that's not kind, but wow, sort of unkindness and has really
Mhm.
has really come out of the closet
Yeah.
in the last year for sure. I was writing something this morning, and one of my things was before 2020, if somebody was scared about something, people were supportive. It seems in
Mhm.
2020, 2021 now, when someone's afraid of something, let's take, getting the shot or getting COVID or whatever. If someone's fearful, people are like on them. They don't seem
Yeah.
to be so supportive anymore, over
No.
fears. They seem to be judgmental. And
It's kind of man for themselves.
yeah, I kind of really hope we get out of that, because I don't think it's a great way for us to be. I don't think it's a great way for kids to be growing up learning, this is how we are in life. But yeah, you have to have learned something about yourself. You spent a lot of time.
I probably learned how much, like, I do feel like I don't spend that much time with my friends, like, even before, but I really did, and they were a really big part of my life. And any kid would say I don't like school, but I learned that I really do appreciate being at school,
Mhm.
because even if you're doing something you don't like doing, you're seeing the people you enjoy every day, and
Yeah,
it's a routine, something to do. Because right now we're just sitting in our beds doing our school, and when school's done, we just sit there again and do nothing.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I've just learned that I like the routine. Um, I wouldn't say I like the routine, because when I'm doing it, I don't. But you can't just.
Yeah,
It's
you
kind of
guys
taking it for
definitely waffled
granted.
when you went when you weren't in school. You're like, oh, I want to go back to school, and then you went back to school, and you're like, I'm
And then when you're doing it,
back at school. I want
yeah,
to be at home, and then you went back home again, and you're like, oh my god, I want to go back to school.
yeah, because there's pros and cons with both. There's pros and cons with
Works.
everything.
Yeah,
And you just, once you get that taken away from you, you really do realize that that was
like
a good
anything
thing
in life,
or it was a bad
sweetheart.
thing.
We, for some reason, if there's something if there was one way, I mean, every adult wishes they could teach their child, because we all suffer from it. We all don't really realize how much something means to us until we lose it.
Hmm.
La la
And
saying
it's
in
really
movies,
sad that that's how that
you don't know
works.
how much you love someone until you lose them. It's so true. And it's ridiculous that we all know this. We all have done it, felt it, and everything, but yet we still do it. We still
Yeah.
can't pause in so many moments in our life and be grateful and be present and be mindful of the situation. Breathe it in, and really, like you're saying with your friends, like, be super, every minute you get to spend with your friends, you should be grateful for. Maybe that's
Hmm.
the biggest changes going forward that you all can have, is not taking for granted the time that you get to spend with each other. Because I really think that I don't want to be a poo-pooer and say that this is going to happen again, but I think we all know that possibly situations like this, maybe not a pandemic or whatever, but situations like this are probably going to happen in the future. And wow, our whole life can just be, locked down in a minute. And
Yeah.
then you have to do like this. Your friendships have to become, Zoom friendships.
They have to become limited
All used to
friendships.
anywhere. You all spend so much time on Snapchat and whatever. You'd think that talking on Zoom and stuff like that would be just normal. Anyway, whatever. What is another one of my questions? Oh, if the world went back to normal tomorrow, went to sleep tonight, woke up, none of this ever happened, what's the first thing you would do?
I'm not one to go to parties, because when this started, I was 14. But I would probably get my friends to do something of the sort and just hang out with each other, because, did you say who?
I said, ooh.
no, but like something with all my friends, because yes, I've seen them all individually, but I just miss that aspect of everyone having fun together. Because at school, like with half the people being there, only half the people can hang out with each other at one time.
Yeah.
So then once you before when we were all at school together, we would all do something, not all of us, but there'd be bigger groups of people hanging out with each other at lunch, and then it's fun. But now it's split. So there's only certain people that can hang out with certain people. So
Yeah.
when you're all together,
You probably have a lot of friends that you haven't seen at all because they weren't in your cohort.
there's been people that I haven't seen since COVID started,
Yeah.
and it's really weird to see how much
Yeah.
they have changed.
Yeah.
And I really do miss those people because they have moved on. I've moved on with my life, they've moved on with their
Yeah.
life, and this whole thing has affected us all differently.
Yeah.
But it'll be so eye-opening for school to start again and for me to see these people again.
Well, imagine
Or just
something funny
anything to
like
research.
when you guys walk in the door and I hear Thomas's voice and he's like, he went from this to be talking down to her like this.
Yeah.
You guys are going to experience stuff like that, which you don't normally experience because you see your friends every day. So you don't see the change that happens in them. You're going to have, maybe you're too old, but Thomas's age for sure, they're all going to come back together and some of them are going to be like, whoa, like, you know, you from, you know, a 12-year-old boy into a 13, 14, 15-year-old, I don't want to say man, but bigger boy. Like, it's going to be shocking to people, even just to see their friends like that. That's funny. Never thought about that before. I'm happy for you to get back to normal and be around your friends. How do you feel about the future?
The future?
Yeah.
Did you say how do I feel about the future?
Yes.
I don't know. I have two thoughts. I have two. One side it worries me, one side I am hopeful. I am hopeful because I have changed personally from this. So I could probably I have or will become a better person or just a happier person in the future because of things that have what this has shown me. But I am also fearful because I don't know what's going to happen. And it's not like we're back to normal right now.
Right.
So I just can't say what's going to happen.
But why are you fearful?
So I'm fearful for, because a lot of other things are happening because of this. And it's just the beginning of other things that have happened from this. And see, even the beginning of them is scary. And so for those to unfold, even if they're not in our country, anywhere near us, it's just scary for the people that are going through that.
Yeah.
Or that will eventually affect everything like this did.
I understand the scary, but why be fearful about it? I mean, we've talked about fear before. What's the sense of living in the fear of it when I
don't live in the fear
really
of it,
about it.
I don't so much live in the fear of it. I just.
What does that mean?
I feel like fearful is not the right word. It's just.
I think more.
I'm just not really excited for what could happen. I don't know how to explain it. It's just I don't know what's gonna happen, and
of course. Nobody knows.
I don't know what's gonna happen, and I just don't want that uncertainty to unfold into something that is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like there is, even like since the start of 2020, I think things have just been getting worse and worse, or not so much getting worse and worse, but things have been happening, and it's affecting. There's so many different things that it's affecting different parts of the world, not so much this one thing affecting the whole world.
Yeah.
But it's affecting certain people, and then people are catching on, and it's becoming a worldwide movement. And I just don't want it to get worse than it already is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's how
I'm not living.
And I think that's maybe what you're trying to say. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm not living in fear of it because I know it won't affect me. but I'm just not excited for that to possibly happen
Yeah.
to us.
Yeah, I think it's like we've talked about before, the polarization of people. It's really becoming, that's the part that I find is a little unnerving, is there's always been polarization over various things in our society, in our world, but it just seems to be really getting crazy. And that what that could lead to is, I think what you're sort of alluding to, it's very uncertain, it's very unnerving. And
yeah, I don't like living in uncertainty.
yeah, I make a lot of Mad Max and Thunderdome. I know you don't know that movie, but we should watch that movie sometime. I know you don't know that movie, but it's there's so many movies, and that's one of the things for people my age. There's so many movies out there that can that relate to this scenario that we've been in, and so we all make these references. And I make the water world and the Mad Max reference a lot, and those are the things I don't want. I don't want the world to go that direction. I have more faith, I think, in the world than that, but who knows what could happen. And I don't fear for myself. My only fears come from my kids. For you guys, I want to bet that for you guys. I don't I hate the thought of
I just hate the coincidence that this happened in the years of my life that I'm not going to say are the most important, but they are for some people, because you're living as a kid. You're beginning. I'm gonna get my driver's license soon. I'm starting to do the things. Like if I was a bit younger, like say Thomas's age, he doesn't have as much freedom as kids my age or a bit older that are still in high school.
Yeah.
So like we're starting to be able to drive. We're starting to be able to like hang out with more people and like have fun with our friends. And it sucks that it was coincidentally enough at the time of this, like of us being this age.
But just to play the whatever, anybody at any age could say that. I mean, I'm not taking it away from you, because I
agree with you.
I think your age group is kind of the one that's kind of getting shafted the most here. Like,
yeah, like it sucks for everyone.
Well, younger people, like for us, it really didn't make too much of a difference. We don't go anywhere to begin with. It made a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
We couldn't come here. So we couldn't come here, but we don't go anywhere. So it really didn't have a super big impact. Our social circle is pretty small. We don't, we don't do things.
Yeah, and you don't go to high school or university or even go to an at work job.
Yeah, I work.
So there's people that have, that's been changed. They work at home. Yeah. They can't go to the university they studied years to go to.
Yeah.
Like, or even just attend high school in the years that are fun for kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the impact, or when, 15 years from now, what you guys talk about, how you talk about it as like, I know how I talk about the times when I was 16, and it's kind of all filled with parties and this and that, and, doing stupid things. And how are you guys going to talk about it? So what'd you do? I hung out in my room, that's kind of.
Yeah, that's what scares me. I just don't want that to be the center part of what I did in my high school years, because you hear like people in their 20s or 30s talk about, oh my God, we had so much fun in high school, or talk about the fun things they did in high school. I just don't want to be part of the people that say we were affected by a pandemic and we sat at home our whole high school years.
That's up to
and
you. Don't have to. That doesn't have to be your narrative.
No, I know, but
it's all up to you.
I'm hopeful that things are opening up, that I will be able to soon get back to not normal, but a normal.
Yeah.
And start doing these things in moderation and just bringing back what we would normally be doing.
Yeah. So, I hope that for you guys too. I know there is going to be no normal. Like, I don't think life will ever be as we sort of did know it, but I don't think we even need to say it. We just need to grab a hold of the reins and make it happen.
Find out what our new normal is.
Or what?
Find out what our new normal is.
Yeah. Not even find out, make it. Like, don't have to sit around and then wait for it to happen. Make it.
No. Yeah.
Make it happen. So, yeah. Well, that's about it. I don't want us to carry on for too long, but I hope we'll do this again. The good news is we do this all the time, right? You and I kind of do talk all the time. We I definitely, it's one of the things that I'm proud of in my life with my kids, is that we have a pretty open relationship and we do talk, and I don't shy away from topics. I think Ollie just spilled something on the floor. So thank you, baby girl. I'm talking to you. We'll see how this goes. Maybe people will listen to it. I hope they do.
Hopefully.
And, we'll chat again. Love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Love you too.